Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Fireside Cast. I am Eki, and soon we'll be joined in the booth by Sayo. For now, it's just me. We've got Resin on production. We're bringing you round one of the amateur playoffs. It is the round of 16. Dead Frozen Ice Cream Rabbits, which, wow, long name. Sorry, but I ain't reading all that. You're getting called DFR for the rest of the night. And Team Name Finger, which, for the sake of fairness, I also ain't reading all that. You're getting called TNF for the rest of the night, unless the situation calls for me to read your name aloud. But yeah, like I said, round one of the amateur playoffs. This is Seed 8 versus Seed 9. So probably one of the closer matches that we're going to be seeing throughout playoffs this season, probably until we get towards the semifinals and those grand finals. But I'm not surprised if we're going to see some upsets along the way. And I guess right now you can't really call anything that happens tonight an upset. These teams are pretty evenly matched. Team Name Finger actually has a higher percentage of rounds won than DFR does. TNF has 62.22 and Dead Frozen Ice Cream Rabbits has 55.55. And of course, as soon as I say they're going to get called DFR the entire night, I immediately read their name out in full, as well as Team Name Finger. So going to be an interesting matchup tonight. Team Name Finger is 5-3, and DFR is 6-2. Team Name Finger 28 rounds won, 17 rounds lost to make that 62% win rate. And DNR or DNF, I've already forgotten what their abbreviation is at this point. Honestly, I mean it's just such a long name. Can't expect me to remember all of that. DFR. How did I get DNR? What am I thinking of that gets me DNR? Anyway. DFR has a win rate of 6-2 throughout the season, 25-20 for round wins and losses. That gives them the 55.55 round win percentage. So going into this game, I honestly I think it's going to be a toss-up. Don't think there's really any clear winner. Granted, I haven't been able to really keep up with the season. We haven't really been able to bump any casts out since, well, week 8. And now going into the playoffs, will I think slowly have more players ready as time goes on. But we do have 6 in the server, so I think at this point it's just waiting on them to go ahead and start, because I think we're a little late. Everybody's a little late. So now we're just kind of waiting on them to go ahead and hit the rut button. We can get this one on the road, and hopefully Saya will be here soon to bless your ears with their cast. And we might be able to get predictions up before the game starts if one of our lovely moderators or producer is able to set up the predictions. Then you can go ahead and gamble. You will win. Get it twisted. You will profit, but only if you gamble with Fireside Channel points. Don't gamble with your money. Don't do that. That's really bad, actually. Unless you can like resurrect Saloon.tf or something. But we encourage insider trading. Yeah. What underscore said there. We encourage insider trading. So go ahead and gamble if the prediction ever comes up. If we can get that set up. But I mean, I'm really just trying to waffle here until Sayo gets here, but I don't really know what to talk about because, I guess we're waiting on them. Is Sayo here? Or no, they're not here yet. So we're just waiting on them. We're also waiting for Sayo to get here. Well, I'm waiting on Sayo to get here so I can stop waffling, or at least waiting for them to rut before he gets here. So, so we can start. Because, like I said, I haven't really been able to keep up with the season so far. I don't even think I've seen these guys play. I have seen Team Name Finger. I've seen, I think, a game or two of theirs. I don't think I've seen DFR at all at any point throughout the season. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see them play, because everything they have is going to be a surprise for me. Don't know if they're a super aggressive team. Don't know if they play back. Maybe some of the lovely DFR fans in chat can help me out with this one here. But
Man.
Oh, and now Sayo's here. Everybody say
What's
hello.
good?
Say hello to Sayo. Oh, and perfect timing as well. The match literally just went live.
What? I'm not even in the
Oh
server,
yeah.
bro.
Oh, that's
Go on
fine.
without me.
I can. Yeah, I got you. I got you. We'll start it off. I mean, it seems like each team is kind of slow, actually. So it will be DFR who is out first. No real spam coming out, but stickies are being held on the side of team name Finger. Some good spam into the houses, but no left house control, or no blue house control, I guess I should say, for the side of team name Finger. No right house control either. Oh, of course, as soon as I say that, they actually managed to shove their way through. Now Noodles pushing through red house. They're going to be able to get a lot of good pressure here. And over the point, it looks like the soldiers for team name Finger are kind of weak. They're going to have to play back and get healed up. They're not really going to be able to bomb for anything, do good damage right now. And honestly, the position for team name Finger isn't looking great at the moment. Demo goes down, but it's a 1 for 3, so this could turn around very quickly. Big bomb coming in on the side of Fazod, or Fazod, however you say your name. Big pick onto the medic. Wingman going down. Now Substance going down as well. It's just, I believe, Klagan leaving through lobby, going out towards the spawn. They don't manage to mop up the pick onto the demo. Now we do have a loot going in. Connor is able to find that pick, though. Another soldier coming in. These Noodles is in behind. Air shot by Fazod. And TNF manages to flip control that point. 10 seconds of time advantage now.
This forward hold is one of the hardest to break in the game. I think it's just, if you have to double soldier towards plat and stairwell, the only viable way to get out here for red team is to go through a ramp, but these stickies here are a huge deterrent for them trying to get out.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to go the double soldier main route. Does work for them. They get Fazod, but that's not really what they're looking for. I do think predictions are live as well. A little late, so if you want to get in on the predicting, go ahead. Yeah, but pushing out of the forward hold here, I mean, that's like, it's just so difficult. 2 soldiers shut down like half of the forward hold. It's crazy
okay. That was their
how difficult
it
is to get out.
That was their 4-man, so that was essentially a 4-man sack attempt, but now that they have the Uber, they can try to actually definitively push out without losing anybody.
Yeah, and of course with TNF, I think being down a player still at the time of DFR deciding to push out, then DFR is probably going to be able to flip this point, but they have to play their post pretty well. Uber gets used across the point. It doesn't look like we're going to see a counter just yet from DFR, but now they use the counter walking over the point. Some good stickies, but no good damage. They dead a little too early, and they don't manage to mop anyone up, except for Aurelia, who gets picked up in the post by Noodles, who's on 5 HP, Loots on 70, so no health for their soldiers, but no soldiers in general for the side of team named Finger, so they can't mop up any of that damage. They don't have anyone to make space for them.
That's a really shocking way to play the post Uber exchange, because when you have that Uber and the point is blue as TNF, you kind of want to stay in with your soldiers there and try to take the exchange to their face, not give up any ground with the exchange, and they opted to give up ground and they lost both their soldiers for it.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, it's a really interesting way to play it, because usually that's like you're baiting your soldiers, right? You're trying to get them to do a million damage, and then you walk in with your demo or something. You know, you have great heals or something along those lines, but you have to go in. You know, you can't. Oh, wait a minute! Luke comes in from Z, gets the pop up onto Taylor. I believe it's supposed to be Taylor. We'll just call him Tay for now. But he gets the pop up onto the beam, gets the air shot, finds the kill. Demo in the med. The med is caught out. 1 HP. Could die. 1 rocket is all it needs. Bonesy or Boneezy, however you say their names. We don't got no pronunciation guy. 95% Uber drop on the side of Wingman. So that is going to be detrimental for DFR. And that'll give Tay on the side of team named Finger a good opportunity to press forward and flip the point.
That's a good reactive 4-man sack. Once they lost their medic all the way back in blue side, they immediately sent a soldier behind. They sent everybody in, and red was trying to turtle, but they just weren't able to get into position on time. And oh my goodness, what a bomb from these Noodles onto Taylor.
Yeah, that's massive. That is massive for DFR, because that resets the medic situation essentially. Now Fazod going down. Now overpaid Rice Farmer going down. They're trying to send in the sacks. That is a fantastic turtle, like you said. I mean, just holding on, deathballing around the beam. Wingman manages to stay alive without so much as a scratch coming their way. I mean, you can't ask for a better outcome there, especially with 3 people diving into your beam.
It's just a matter of who can keep the medic alive, because medics have been dying on this map way more than often would be said for higher divisions playing Bagel, so Wait, we have 2 scouts behind on right?
Wingman is down. Wingman is down.
Soldier behind. And they got on the medic.
Yeah, they managed to find a pick onto Wingman, so there's no beam. Now Taylor goes down. Noodles is in for the trade. Bombs into main. It's just med trade after med trade in this game. Rice Farmer does meet, I believe this is Noodles, jumps away toward their own slant. And I mean, there's only so much you can really do. Got to back away here. This will give Team Named Finger the opportunity to push in, but yeah, like you said, nearing overtime, they have to get on top of the point and flip it. They will get the pick onto Loot, and they're going to immediately shorten his spawn time, but they don't really have a choice. 3 seconds on the clock for the side of DFR. They're looking to get in, have one decisive fight, and flip it over. And realistically speaking, they can wait as long as they'd like, as long as they don't let it go to double overtime.
Now if you're TNF, you can't do what you did in the last Uber exchange and give up ground. You have to essentially fight for ground, because if you let this go down to 0 seconds on the clock and not have any space on point, then the chances of you winning this round are very unlikely. So it's pretty much do or die here for them. There's no room for error.
Yeah, 2 picks for TNF here. They get both soldiers. They get Loot and Noodles. I believe Boneasy was able to get the first pick onto I believe it was Noodles, and then Loot died to a soldier in Blue House. So 30 seconds left on the clock for Team Named Finger. They're looking to try and convert this round. They had a rocky start, a rocky mid game, but they're trying to shape it up in the end game for this round here. Now a lot of good damage coming out over the point. Uber gets popped in response. This is a very aggressive counter, but they don't manage to find anything with it. They don't pressure for ground or anything. 10 seconds left on the clock. A lot of cap time for the side of DFR, and like you said, horrible HP, but no meta live for the side of a TNF. That's a 2-for. Luke gets a 1-for-2 rocket onto Facade and overpaid Rice Farmer. Now Noodles finds Connor, but Boneasy is going in a 2K. Can he find 3? Bonesy. He's playing on top of the point. Bonesy looking for anything and everything, fighting the whole world right now, and unfortunately can only do so much in that 1v3. Doesn't walk away with the win, but walks away with a sick clip to add to the montage at the very least.
GR's in the chat. One of the things that I noticed there towards the end of that post-Uber fight is that Taylor actually walked across the point, and there was a soldier in control of Blue House. So when you give up control of those houses, you give up the potentiality to have ground to avoid spam, and that soldier taking spam on Blue House from DFR won them the round single-handedly, I'd say. Killing the medic is important in that fight.
I'd have to agree. And now, very early on, Rice Farmer going to be finding the pick onto Substance here. Demo getting the scout down. That's going to be nice. Soldiers have a little bit of an easier time trying to bomb forward. These Noodles will go down. Interesting. Now Taylor going down. That is tragic. Loot is able to find the crucial needle thread that gives them an advantage. And now Wingman is still alive. Successful turtle works for the side of DFR. They're going to be able to back their beam out to spawn. They're going to have full Uber ad. And now it's on Team Named Finger to try and have somebody sack in to get something. Facade goes a little too early, thinks they're spotted, I would assume, and tries to bomb out, gets nothing, gets taken out.
A lot of hero plays here.
Yeah, big hero plays coming through, but nothing really phasing out. They're trying to get a 4-man to go, I think, and they're very segmented, very fragmented in this 4-man attempt, but it works. They managed to get the use from Wingman, and that will set up Team Named Finger for about 50 Uber ad if they continue to build this out and get some good pressure onto the point.
There's a trap from Polhagen that looks really good. Oh
my goodness. Yeah, just barely. Got a little greedy. Probably could have mopped up a scout or maybe the demo pick there if they just like literally half a second earlier. Bomb coming in from Noodles. Get some good rockets onto Taylor. Could die. Ooh. But Taylor is the one to mop up the kill. The medics mopping up the kills on the bombers is not usually something you want to see. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself, I think is the motto that Taylor's living by. Bomb coming in from Loot. The use does come out. A little bit of a fear pop. No damage comes into Taylor, and barely any comes into overpaid Rice Farmer and Connor, both people that are flashed in this Uber. So now, similar situation to what we saw last time. Full Uber disad for Team Named Finger. They've got to play around this.
Because of TNF's Uber disad situation, they can't do a forward hold, so they have to opt to try to bait the heals on point, try to do a 4-man to then get the force, or they could just let them slowly get the cap on the side of DFR. But it looks like they're going to go 4-man in, and like I said, you bait them on the point, you get the medic a little bit forward into the trap, it springs, and then you go for the 4-man. is going to work out too. They also get a demo, which is a consolation prize, but the more
Absolutely.
important fact is that they got the Uber Force. But look at Bonesy.
Yeah, Boneasy, admittedly, I don't like the play by Boneasy there. And I'll tell you why. Late respawn. You're coming in on a completely different wave than anybody else. Yeah, your team has Uber ad, but now they're fighting a 5v6 on top of the point. Right? Like, if Boneasy was able to stay alive there, maybe get out, you know, just play hidden as well, could have a much easier time trying to push out here. But now you're making your team wait for you. It's just a little inconvenient, makes it a little bit more hard, and takes the fight into Blue House. Will probably be able to mop up the kill. No, they won't. Soldier gets out of Blue House for free. Yeah, it's a perfect adjustment. I mean, they managed to play around it well. Yeah, they're going to be using through onto concrete here. Will they be able to mop up any more picks is the real question. They managed to find a Sunbather. That will be one of the few picks they're able to get in this Uber. They do manage to find Loot here, who bombs into the house. Boneasy going to be able to find that pick.
They got way more than they expected with the Uber.
Yeah, honestly, most of that came in the post, I think, because they got the one pick in the Uber. Plenty of damage in the Uber, but no mop-up, and then they just re-aggressed too early on the side of DFR.
But what I'm kind of confused about here is that, you know, DFR, they didn't have to have all those late stagger deaths. They could have been able to push out way earlier, and maybe time won't burn off the clock as much, but these soldiers, despite the Uber ad, are oddly to try to go for a medic that, even if they get the kill, it's a bit questionable, and they don't even get the kill. They have to use the Uber, and they're not going to be able to get any kills with it. They got forced by Aurelia and Bonesy.
Yeah, and I mean, that is... effectively. That's tragic. That's absolutely tragic for DFR, because had such a strong round the round before. It's only round 2, so I mean, strong round in the first one, and I mean, there's only so much they can do at this point. That fear pop, now they're going in for the 4-man. They're going to be able to get in onto Taylor, but not a lot of good damage. Now, as I say that, both soldiers coming in. 2 rockets, the 1 HP used. That is insanity. Almost drops it, but at the last frame, manages to hit right-click, saving themselves, saving their players. Nobody else dies in that 4-man, if I am not mistaken, and that will set them up for good positioning, can maybe leave someone in pretty close to die for a sack. But
here's what I want to see differently, though, Eki, is I don't want to see like an aggressive Uber use. On Bagel, the meta is to try to get the cap without having to use, but they're giving up these flanks so easily against TNF that they're just opting to put their soldiers aggressively forward instead of trying to go for control of space. And I mean, it's going to work out here, but last time it didn't work out for DFR. They should be lucky that they were able to get this point by only losing 1 player.
Loot in with a spoon onto overpaid Rice Farmer. I do believe at least got a spoon onto someone. That does force TNF off of the point. So now this has turned into a situation where they've got about 40 seconds to try and make something work. It's pretty close in terms of Uber. Honestly, I would be playing back. I would try to get this Uber built out. Aggressive Uber used by DFR. They're going to be Uber checking into lobby. They get Rice Farmer. They get Fazad. They get 2 in this aggressive Uber. And this could mean all the difference in this round. Aurelia finds the pick onto Loot. Now the reaggress comes out from the side of TNF. They are able to mop up Klagan on the point. Now Wingman goes down. No Uber, or no heals in general.
The point
for the side of DFR. Don't C9 this here. You have to get on top of the point. They remember the objective. They have to play it. Now they have to fight this soldier off of the point here. Misses the air shots. Should go down. Will go down. 12 seconds overtime for DFR. They're looking to just get their bodies on the point as soon as possible. That is all they need to do. Soldier fades. Scout pressuring toward the point. Sticky still on the ground. They don't dead. Now they dead. Demo goes down. Klagan is out of the equation. 3-4-3 right now. Loot will go down. Sunbather will go down. And now Wingman falls. The only person that can fight is these Noodles, and there's nothing they can do. It's 1-1. Very, very sudden shift in momentum here.
That Uber check was not expected from the side of TNF, but I don't think what DFR expected in return was despite being 3 players down, Connor called to do a single scout Uber into them and got 3. So ultimately the heroics of that round go all the way to Connor, because if he doesn't get 3 there, his staggered respawns aren't there to help cap the point, and I don't think TNF win the round without his DM efforts there.
Absolutely. And as we move into the third round here, it's all tied up. Not a lot of good spam coming out from either team here. And I think that's just due in part to both teams playing very well around the spam. They're dodging it very well. Now, with that said, Bonesy and Fazad will be able to get loot inside of Blue House. Point captured for the side of TNF. They're going to be able to find these noodles as well. Bonesy is in that trade. And this will be... overall, more beneficial for the side of TNF than it will be DFR. But that doesn't mean they can't re-aggress into here. They've still got that advantage in Bonesy still spawning up, so they can pressure over the point. They just have to play it slow. They got to play for good spam, good damage, and then the mop-up. But Fazad, the Uber may get popped over the point here by Taylor, but they opt to play back. Soldier bombing in, it'll be D's Noodles landing on slant. Uber gets used from the side of TNF, and so too does... Wait, it doesn't get used! Oh my goodness. Wingman, or well, it did get used, but they had no support for the post, and they just crumbled. They crumbled immediately. As soon as that Uber was over, they couldn't leave. The bomb came in from the soldiers of the side of TNF.
You can forward ult here if you're DFR though, Eki. I'm thinking this is a huge misplay because even if you don't have Uber ad, even if they have Uber ad, but they don't have, you know, they don't have Uber, they should be able to forward hold here. Instead, they're gonna let the players flood out, and those two soldiers are gonna kill Taylor. This is a huge misplay from TNF. Because every time you wipe the other team on mid, that's just an immediate forward hold. That just eliminates the better chance of a 4-man working against your team, because you would ultimately hold these small and narrow choke points, and instead they opted to give it up, and they paid the price for that.
Absolutely. I mean, forward holding there, definitely the best decision that TNF could have made. Keeping Taylor alive is of utmost importance right there. You got to try and keep your Uber advantage up for as long as possible, but on the other hand, I kind of understand where they're coming from. You know, they're taking risks. They're just trying to, you know, they're testing the waters a little bit, seeing how DFR is going to respond to action like that, maybe. And I think at this point, they know they can't afford to make that mistake again. It won't be worth it. And, you know, right now they're sitting on 2 minutes worth of time ad, so I don't think they really care, or a minute worth of time ad, rather. I don't really think they care too much. Bonesy will go down. Loot is able to find that pick, looking to get them traded out, but they won't. Demo goes down. Noodles trades out with Loot here. Now Fazad goes down. It's a 3-for-1 deal, and this is not looking good for TNF right now. Forced back into their spawn, and DFR is sitting very comfortably on the point. Uber's in hand for both teams here, so probably going to see a bust out through lower, maybe forced through concrete, but I think best decision here would be through lower.
Pay attention to Loot here, because I think they're going to bait the push out of ramp, and then Loot is going to bomb. No, it's just going to be a simple fade. But now, the shoes on the other foot, TNF are the ones that have to initiate the Uber. If they can cap without having to use, that's great. But look at how far
on the side of DNF.
You can milk this if you're DFR, and they're going to lose 2 players, but that ultimately is fine. Well, maybe not the reuse back in, though. That's a bit questionable to me.
I don't know. I think I can understand it, because right here we've got a soldier going in for Taylor. There's no defense on Taylor. Taylor gets the crossbow. Bonesy finds the meat shot. D's Noodles goes down. A surefire pick on Taylor turns into a nothing burger with nothing fries and a nothing drink. Just complete nothingness. And now DFR is on the back foot. They're at disad. Granted, not a lot of Uber disad, but still a significant amount given their time situation as well. So this is not looking good for DFR. We could see the second round won here in the favor of TNF. These Noodles and Loot both go in. Nothing found. Klagan dies. Sunbather dies. It's not looking good for DFR here. 14 seconds left on the clock. This is crazy.
Just gotta say, I gotta give my props to the soldiers on TNF, Facade, and Aurelia. They've been holding down the houses. Remember the first one that was won by DFR? That was off the back of red soldiers getting through the flanks and houses. But now they've been ultimately shut out, not being allowed to play their game. And now they're pretty much a non-factor in this fight, as the Uber does come out from TNF. Should be able to get kills here to end, but players not getting flashed. This is actually going to end in favor of DFR.
Yeah, lasting way longer, the Uber for DFR. Honestly, at this point, if you can't manage to get a good post like you can't right here, there's nothing you can really do at this point. Just hold on, wait for a minute, maybe die if you're trying to go for something. Just take the respawn. You can re-aggress at another point. I mean, you have overtime. You have a minute 36 to act on something right now. You have
They
plenty
gotta
of
do it
time
before
to run a 4-man. You have plenty of time to do literally anything. At least 2 plays you can comfortably sit through before you start biting your nails waiting for time. But we're going to push out through concrete on the side of TNF. Soldier going in from behind. Big bump from these noodles. They find the pick on the Taylor. Nobody turns around. Klagan goes down, but it's med for demo. Active camo on these noodles. Hello. Now Sunbather goes down. Bonesy is just in. Oh my goodness. 4 down, 5 down rather, for the side of DFR. This is crazy. Just active camo. I don't understand how some of these people are just invisible, but they are, and they're getting massive value.
Man, that was such a great play by D's Noodles, but the team kind of let him down there. Especially when you get that pick on the medic, you want to turtle around each other, but you don't want to turtle in a bad position to where the flanks get shoved and then ultimately your medic dies when they shouldn't have died in the first place. So Wingman, just an unfortunate and inevitable death based on the way that DFR played that post-med kill positioning.
Yeah, I mean, now starting out this round, TNF at a very disadvantageous position. Aurelia and Bonesy both down on the same respawn timer at the very least. So that is something to look forward to. They'll come up and you can push out at around the same time. Bonesy now up. Soldier bomb again is going to be these noodles getting a lot of good damage, but will get picked up by a nice pipe from overpaid Rice Farmer. Now that gives TNF a nice position here. They can pressure a little bit more aggressively.
Bonesy
Loot bombs forward through the house, forces back. Bonesy is just in. Is spotted this time. Active camo wasn't on, I suppose. Forgot to activate it. Nice rocket from the side of, I believe that was Fazad in the right house, but unfortunately Aurelia will, or actually I think it was Aurelia. Aurelia goes down. Uber gets popped from the side of TNF. They walk up the point. They're trying to kick, or they're trying to kill whoever they can, collect whatever is in front of them, but they get absolutely nothing.
Taylor's caught. He got stuck on the ledge.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's tragic. That is tragic.
He would have been fine if he escaped through Plat, but instead he tried to jump, you know the little fence off of Plat going towards main stairs? He got stuck on that. Oh, just hesitation on where to leave costed him and his team the round, potentially.
It's that hesitation that gets you. You know, you can have great fundamentals, great understanding of the game, but if you so much as hesitate, even for a second, especially in Koth, it's what comes back to bite you. It will punish you. We do have, I believe this is Aurelia going in to try and get the force some good damage onto Wingman, but nothing comes of it. Aurelia and Bonesy both going down. I believe that's supposed to be a 4-man. Fazad is still in and needs to die or get something soon. I believe either kill-binded or blew themselves up with a rocket, but at this point now they gotta wait for Fazad to come up. They're at a minute worth of time disadvantage, and at this point I think it would just be better to maybe come out through lower.
And it looks like that's the play that they're opting to make, but the thing is that this push is staggered. It's just a demo man and a scout, overpaid Rice Farmer and Bonesy. Thankfully they get the kill on these noodles, trying to get a good timing with the bomb, and they're gonna find a lot of picks on point and a lot of damage. It's just
big bomb coming in from loot. Oh my goodness.
And now Fazad's gonna try to salvage. This is an okay use because they got forced by 2 soldiers, Aurelia from house and Fazad with a high bomb through a point. But man, like, you get those 2 picks, but you don't have any scouts around with your medic. They kind of tunnel vision as Wingman dies eventually to Aurelia from the initial sack attempt to get the force. But especially when you're pushing out, you gotta keep tabs on the sky. You can't be looking essentially forward like in a straight line. You gotta keep your eyes in the sky or else you're gonna pay the price.
Absolutely. You've got to be monitoring where those soldiers are at all times. Loot probably going to crater here and will to player advantage for the side of TNF. Less than a minute on the clock for DFR as they are trying to just pressure, not really going for anything right now at the very least. And I think I honestly respect that decision. There's really nothing to go for at the moment. Just get people buffed and make sure you're all on the same page before you do something. I think we've seen a lot of just going in for hero plays this game. Now Aurelia fighting with these noodles. Klagan will go in. Substance will also go in. And now, Substance will go in. So really nothing out of that 4-man here. Taylor will stay alive. Probably didn't even need to go for the 4-man. It was gonna be even Ubers. So
they have
now,
time. So you when you have a lot of time on the clock and you know that you won't be. If you have like more than like 2 minutes, it's okay to go for that force.
Right. I just think right there it might be a little. It's gonna make it a little awkward for you to then fight even there. Wait a minute, Uber from Taylor. This is a questionable Uber. They do use into the concrete, but now they're getting counter-popped onto. They're going to get blocked inside of the house. Taylor almost juggled into the doorway. A lot of stickies coming their way. Pipes will miss. That is one player down. Klagan is dead for the side of DFR. That is basically a 2 for, it's 2 of, it's a 2 for 2 right now. Luke goes in for the spoon, will go down. Connor's able to find that pick. Now it looks like we're going to be seeing Wingman on concrete. Nobody's really fighting anybody here. Time is evened out. Could be seeing a bomb from Noodles. No, opts to play on the slant, go for the spam, bombing or jumping away. And now we'll see DFR regrouping on concrete, pressuring forward toward the point, but there isn't a lot of presence from TNF on the point right now. They're going to give the flip for free. Reaggress onto the point. Substance goes down.
A house
now
fight is
Bonesy
going
goes
really
down.
well, right? It's going well for DFR, so now that they've opened up an avenue to where they can shove a player behind, that being D's Noodles.
Noodles is behind, bombing it onto Taylor. 1 rocket, 2 rocket, 3 rockets is all he needs. Goodness me. I say 3 rockets is all he needs, as if there's not 4 that he can fire, but I guess 2 of them are the ones he used for the actual fighting of the medicine friend. But
I gotta say that TNF. I mean, TNF have acknowledged that DFR soldiers like to go for plays, and in the times that they've allowed them to have the space to bomb and go behind in the houses, they've been punished severely. So they need to keep that in their mind for the rest of this game, as they lost Taylor early, but they're killing everybody on DFR all of a sudden.
Goodness me.
What the hell?
If they can find this pick onto Sunbather. No pick onto Sunbather, but if they were able to find that pick onto Sunbather, delay the actual fight for the side of DFR just a little bit longer, that could benefit them slightly, but nobody's there to taxi Taylor. They send Connor back really, really late, which is interesting. Usually you have somebody just waiting by the spawn.
These plot traps. Oh, they got blown away by stickies, but Wingman almost just walked over them.
This is great pressure from DFR. They get 2 soldiers in both houses, just spotting very early on. They had no point presence on the side of TNF, so now they're looking to fight and force this into overtime potentially. 1 player down on each side. Scout for Soldier. Now Soldier, Scout for Soldier. No bombers for the side of DFR unless they use their demo. There's so much damage coming out. They don't contest the point. They have nobody there on top of it. And DNF will win because the damage is too strong.
I gotta say, man, like, I'm not agreeing with some of the aggression that DFR puts. Like, when they go for aggression, they put a lot of bodies on point. You only want your pockets out to be contesting the point, and maybe your demo can go a bit forward, but they've been getting focus fired due to their inability to pressure off these soldiers from the houses. So you're taking way more damage than you anticipate trying to contest the point, and that's ultimately losing DFR a lot of these stalemate or what should be even situations.
Yeah, and I mean, with the aggression that they're using right now, you'd think that they're constantly in an wait, hold on a minute, bomb coming after Taylor.
Oh god!
Second rocket martyrdom is equipped. Goodness me, Taylor goes down now. It's all in for the beam. Rice farmer on the Wingman. Oh my goodness. He doesn't only farm rice.
He
farms beams as well. Goodness gracious. Like I said earlier, it's just med trade after med trade after med trade in this game. And now we have Loot bombing the point. Substance comes in to mop up. Loot goes down. It's a trade. Scout for Soldier. What is going on?
It's just you know, in the split seconds between fights, when you have a severe advantage like that, having a medic picked to your name, you just have to immediately put your eyes towards keeping your medic alive. And unfortunately, that Laxson judgment, or that they just kind of fell asleep at the wheel, I would say, if you're DFR. But that's okay, because the situation essentially resets itself to an even situation. Now it's a matter of, can you contest the point? Can you keep them from capping if you're TNF? But they're just giving up all this ground. Look at how far Taylor's heals are.
On his own.
Taylor's been conditioned to play so far back in main because of Loot and Deez's bombs.
Yeah, I mean, when you're getting bombed constantly, you have soldiers in your face 24/7. You're not really getting anyone on your team to deal with it. Nobody's really turning around in an appropriate time. You're conditioned. You have to play further back, and it really costs your team a lot. Bomb comes in. Taylor forces, doesn't need to, but uses anyway. Counter comes out from the side of DFR. They lose Loot in their Uber, and TNF has not yet lost any players. Loot still in that respawn queue. Now Noodles goes in for a bomb, gets a lot of good damage onto Taylor, but isn't able to mop up any kills. Damage going crazy for DFR.
man.
Health is super poor for TNF, but they have
Wingman.
nobody alive to mop it up. Wingman going down. This is tragic for DFR right now. At least the time disadvantage isn't too crazy. They should be able to recover from this if they have a good push. But man, if they were just able to keep Wingman alive right there.
Now this is okay, you don't have to go for an immediate 4-man, but this single bomb from a soldier, the chances of you making a single hero play sack work like that is going to be nil versus if you have a 4-man. So I'm seeing a lot of dysfunction, I would say, in these DFR sacks. It's only when they're 6-man strong that they tend to make these sacks work most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen a little bit of struggle for the sacks from DFR, and I mean, that's normal. A lot of people, you know, struggle sometimes with those sacks. I mean, it's a normal thing. Sometimes getting the timing, you know, perfect is hard. Uber comes out from the side of TNF. It was loot going in for the last second spoon, the hero play. And I think that's also what's costing them a little bit. Their soldiers don't bomb at the same time. One of them keeps going for spoons when they're not getting it. They got one lucky pick, or I shouldn't say lucky. They got one nice pick onto Rice Farmer earlier, and they're kind of just going for it, sending it every time. And usually, while I respect the attempts to send it, right now you're in playoffs. It's single elimination.
Oh no!
And if you lose your first map, chances you lose the second map are much higher. But now, big Uber ad for the side of DFR. Demo goes in, Rice Farmer, it only takes one to get them to use that Uber. Now Aurelia going down, probably going to be seeing Bonesy, and I believe, nah, Connor is out to spawn with the beam. So too is Facade. They have about a minute worth of time ad here, and they're going to be pushing very soon.
Deez is
Where's
in
Deez
the
Noodle?
is in the penultimate position to make a play.
In the Z,
the timing is
goes
good.
in, one rocket, two rocket, three rockets! Oh my god,
No
teammates,
shot.
turn around! Goodness me, you can't be beefing your shots right there,
You can't be allowed
Taylor.
to shoot 4 rockets, let alone 3.
What is it, 2 rockets? Shame
was
on me,
4.
or like shame on you? Like, what the what? What do you even say right there for 4 rockets? I mean, that's crazy. And now, of course, the crumble as they try to go in for the salvage, but they're not able to get the pick onto Wingman. So now they're left with nothing, basically. They have absolutely nothing to show for it. Their time ad has completely been eviscerated. There's nothing that they have in favor for them right now. Uber disad,
Bonesy is
no
allowed
position.
to walk on the Cole. Oh my. Dude, if
Bonesy gets taken down, good pipe from Pligan. Aurelia dying. Demo's going in for the sack. It's a staggered 3-man. Not sure where I'm not sure where Fazad is in that 4-man, or I guess in that 3-man. But
he was a late
playing
spawn.
up far enough back, I guess, yeah. But man, this isn't looking good. This went from looking golden for TNF, looking like a 4-1 victory on the first map of the series, to potentially having a momentum shift come their way very soon. 25 seconds on the clock.
If you're DFR, you don't want to go for a bomb here like what Deez is trying to do. You just want to spam them out, get them lit up like a Christmas tree on their way out the doors here, and then you want to make them use first on point. Give yourself the better chance to have a better Uber. Force them to flash more than you, and eventually you'll win the fight. You don't need to go for these aggressive fights on point and let them come to you. Instead, they're going to take the
Massive
first
bomb
fight.
from Noodles. That bomb from Noodles might secure DFR the round here as they get that Uber out very early on. Taylor is playing super far back. They have nobody on the point right now, save for a scout that is doing their damnedest to get everything out of it they possibly can. Aurelia and Connor go down. They need to stand on top of the point here. It's going to be Bonesy going forward, but Sunbather running toward Taylor. One meat shot doesn't manage to connect the final shots, though. And now TNF by a
Sunbather
stroke of
behind.
luck, I would say.
Oh, the
is able to get it.
basher!
Oh, Boston Basher kill!
And that's what I
Total
said,
whiffage
Aki,
until the
you
melee
don't-
comes out.
You don't want to
Now
go for the
Bonesy's
first
running
first.
forward to the wingman. Oh my days.
You see what happens when you go for the force of your D's Noodles. You're essentially a fragging class down, and ultimately, you're going to lose the fight because of that. You always want the team that's pushing into you to initiate first, not put yourself in the initiation stage.
Taylor's very weak. One good bomb could spell doom for them. They managed to go wood, get the pack. One player down each side, both a soldier, even strength on the field right now. Aurelia does have a longer respawn time. Loot coming up now should arrive in time to make this a good fight, but Uber comes out from the side of DFR. No Uber in play for TNF. They cannot let this point flip. They have to stay on top of it. 4 down. It's just a med and a scout on the point. Loot coming forward. Gets sent to the skybox. No air shot. Takes forever to die. Uber on top of the point to prevent any more overtime from coming in. But ladies and gentlemen and friends in between, map 1 Bagel has gone in favor of Team Named Finger in a very dominant 4-1 scoreline.
So that last fight, when the one where I kind of foreshadowed it by saying you don't want to be the first to initiate there is a perfect example of why you don't want to be the first to initiate on Bagel. Yes, in theory, getting the force is good, but ultimately they were going to use regardless whether or not you got that force. It's just a matter of when that force or when that Uber use is going to happen. Because by these noodles going for that force and dying for it and only just getting the force and no frags, you put yourself down 1 fragging class in an Uber change that was going to happen regardless. So while you do have a slightly better Uber, you're counting on your players to, in the post, while they have a better Uber, get a kill within the 1 to 2 seconds extra you bought them with that Uber. Right. That's a chance that is not going to be as much of a high percentage play as it is to let them use first and give yourself the natural Uber advantage in that Uber exchange in terms of winning percentage. So
right,
that costed DFR the round, and it's ultimately the reason why a lot of players say on Koth it's better to play the percentages than it is to go for heroic plays. Because on paper, if you're looking at it from the stream as a viewer without knowing the nuances of going for a force and knowing when it's the right time to go for it, it looks good on paper, but you see how in the long game, it ruins their chances of winning the round, and they blew a 1-minute lead off of that.
Absolutely. And we do have the logs. So we can take a look at the other half of the story that isn't the one that I guess it is the one that we commentated on, but isn't the one that was, at the forefront of everybody's mind. We've got the detailed stats here, and filtering by DPM, this kind of makes sense. Fazad, 345 DPM, 29, 5, and 23. I'm really not that surprised that everybody is having a decent DPM game here. Everybody is over 200 right now, and I mean, there is a little bit of people who I see are lower on it, but they have high impact. Like Substance here is 23, 13, and 16, but you would not guess that their DPM would be 202. They're playing great cleanup crew. They're going in off of advantages that they're given, and they're playing the game very well. They're playing great cleanup crew. Same thing with Connor. They're not, spearheading everything. That's usually Bonesy. But they're playing great cleanup crew. Their DPM is low, but their kills are high. Bonesy is the exception to this. 33, 15, and 27 with 289. It felt like Bonesy had way higher DPM with the amount of times I just saw them sneaking in with, active camo, just getting in front of everybody and hiding in places they really should not be getting away with hiding, which is right under their noses. But Loot and Noodles having high DPM, 331 and 289 respectively. I mean, these logs, they make sense.
That's what happens when you go for plays, though. In the first few rounds, I would say when you look at the logs, yes, it looks good on paper, but you have to see ultimately what they were doing to get those stats. Loot and these Noodles were doing a lot of spam and doing a lot of bombs where naturally on Koth, they did their bombs in situations where players tended to be balled up. Did it result in kills most of the time? Early on, yes, but one of the things that I saw TNF change up was how they anticipated the bombs. They saw the timings as they came, and they ultimately dealt with them. They didn't all go forward. After that first round they lost, and maybe like the second and third round, they spent a lot more time going back for Loot and these Noodles. So by doing that and noticing that they gave themselves a winning position every time they killed the soldiers first, they were setting themselves up for success, and that helped them win the game.
Yeah, very well said. Going on to map 2 here, though, we have Granary, and I'm sure you're definitely going to be able to do the analysis for Granary significantly better than I can. You want to know how many times I've played this map in total?
I think the last time I played it was Season 2 main. So
the last time I played this was in like an experimental cup. I think I've played this map a grand total of like 3 times. So
I think
know
Looser
next to
hasn't
nothing.
played Granary. Looser, our producer, hasn't played Granary now that I can think of it. Looser, I think Looser's in the chat. Have you played Granary? Let us know if you have. Like in an actual league, not like in a, you know,
Yeah.
pug. Yeah, Granary is one of those maps where the game is going to get a lot slower, a lot more boring, and it's already hard as it is to break through these stalemates at the high level. Now imagine doing that, but playing in the newer or lower div levels like this. This game is going to be... How would I say this? This Granary match is going to be a game of who makes the mistake first. Or it's going to be a matter of who does the double bomb better on mids. Because Granary mids tend to be won by who gets the most value out of a double bomb mid. Not a lot of teams go for a slow Granary mid because it's just hard to, you know, kite around these sightlines where the crates essentially block your entire vision of the mid. So it's either be pushed or be the ones to push. And if you can push and be the more successful one to start the fight, then you will win the mid. But don't anticipate keeping your medic alive because it's hard to deny soldier bombs if you don't position yourself correctly on those crates.
Right. And for those of you watching, we've got channel predictions up. Maybe you haven't noticed, we do have quite a heavy-sided prediction in favor of TNF. So if you're a believer in DFR, you know, get in on that. Get in there, man. There's one guy who's predicted 170 points. That guy's gonna get a 234.59 payout. Oh, now it's now it's okay. I may have spoke a little too soon. It is balancing out. But, you know, we got to get some believers for DFR in here. You know, there has to be some people who believe in DFR. But, hey, put your points in. Put your money where your mouth is if you think DFR is going to win it. Not sure when these are going to go away. Probably after the first mid, I would presume.
I will say,
until then, they're up, and we're going live for Granary.
This map will favor DFR a lot more because this allows your soldiers to have a lot more freedom to dictate the mids. And if anything, D's Noodles and Loot will be the huge win cons for DFR heading into this map. I think we're going to map 3. I'm going to call 4-2 for DFR.
That's what I think. I think we're going to see a third map tonight, especially because, like you said, the soldiers are going to be the win conditions for DFR. They put holy lamp spot from Fazad going in for the spam instead of committing to the bomb. Now it'll be Aurelia going in as well. Bonesy going to be able to find a couple picks of their own. 3-4-3. Taylor's still alive. Wingman very weak here. Demo trying to scramble their way out. Hits the surf and the choke. They are going to be able to escape. Honestly, I would have tried to stay in there. But, you know, with your beam and your scout... With your beam and your scout already so far out, can't really do that much. They're going in for the refight. It's a 3v. I think this is a 3v5. Or no, it's a 3v4. Players still have not got here.
Our spawns are even. It's going to be a mid-fight 2.0.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's capped it just yet. Will eventually. Now it flips for the side of DFR. And they're going to have to try and get back in. Oh, they're going to back out. They're not going to go for the refight here. They're going to play on the secret second cap that's after mid before you actually get to second point right here. They're going to play in the secret yard point that everybody knows of. But looks like a lot of pressure coming through the choke. Maybe just going to try and rip it through. Sticky's on the wall. Demo goes down. Claygan isn't paying attention. Doesn't clear the corners. Rice Farmer. Beautiful bet onto the demo. Noodles goes down. Aurelia goes down here as well. It's a trade. Soldier for soldier. But actually, it's soldier for soldier and demo. Yeah, this is going to be really good for the side of TNF if they can just take this momentum and get into mid. They've got to be quick with it, though. Those forward spawns are still in effect. Noodles and Claygan will get them. Yeah, no real desire to trade really exists here. I feel like a lot of the times when we see trades, it happens to just be accidental.
I'm just gonna say, I've noticed over these RGL seasons that a lot of amateur soldiers have upped their game in how they play. I feel like when I used to play, it was commit or be committed on. But now it's these soldiers, they know how to fade, they know how to take space and initiate for their teams and not bait. The skill level for TF2 over the years has definitely grown, especially at the lower levels.
Absolutely. Skill ceiling keeps going up. Skill floor keeps going up. I mean, everything just keeps raising. The average skill of the player in open continues to rise. You know what? I love to see it. You know,
that's how Facade got them that mid. He just bombs from garage. He forces essentially the entire combo back, and takes the mid for his team. They didn't even have to use for the side of TNF.
Absolutely, and with TNF being able to get in here for basically free, this should be relatively simple for them. It will be Connor and Taylor going in for the far left side, getting in through the lunchbox area, getting some good damage. They get a meat shot in. Bonesy goes down. Uber gets used on the side of DFR. They hunt down Facade, and that's all they're going to get with that Uber. They use an Uber for a singular pick, and now checking the door for traps. There's nothing on the doorway. They could walk in for free here and take two as they have the Uber advantage. Just have to pressure out the players that are staying up above on Catwalk, but they don't have anybody going in from the side. They don't have anybody going in for the flank, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to try and get something through. They get their soldier through. Aurelia is in, probably going to get taken down here.
What?
Aurelia dies because their team doesn't pressure with them. That's crazy to me. You have so much free space on two.
This Uber is not going to work out. They have to push into this 5v6, but Granary last, you have to cover so much ground. You're going to spend the first half of your Uber trying to even get to their spawn.
Taking it either. They're taking it anyway. They managed to find Claygan. That could be the key that they need to take this Uber player down. Noodles goes down. A lot of players are bunching up. Good spam coming in from Fazan, and there's nobody there to defend the point. Putis can't make it in time. Beam can't make it in time. First round goes to Team Name Finger in just over 4 minutes.
They just did not expect the bomb to come from there. You don't expect a Granary last push where you're done with just bombs from the right shutter of all things. I think one of the things that, when you're against an Uber disadvantage, the things you want to do as a flank scout especially is get that sentry gun up as early as possible, because there's no way you're going to hold second against an Uber advantage situation. Uber disad, I mean. And that's the huge misplay that cost a DFR the round.
Double high bomb coming in from DFR. One going to be fading towards the catwalk. Wingman goes down very early. Now it should be all eyes on Taylor if they can even get towards them, but that will not be the case. Claygan is caught in the side corner. Will go down. Manages to find Bonesy. Substance is able to find Facade here, and actually might be able to find a little bit extra if they're willing, but not able to. Connor and Taylor are the only ones left alive on the side of TNF. They managed to get mid here, though, so that will net their team forward spawns as long as they don't get a little too antsy, leave early. And it looks like they're going to be waiting. Now we should be able to see a pretty rapid push into second from TNF. I don't think DFR has any ground to stand on right now. They're sitting on what is basically full Uber disad.
Sunbather was going to go for that early NG setup, but these soldiers spotting yard gives so much information as to when you can expect your own team to get Uber, because they're building hard on Wingman's Uber. Wingman is already up 70%. And he died in that mid fight. The fact that they're building so well means they have a contesting chance within second, or they can just opt to give it up and have Uber for last. But it looks like they want to fight this. Look at Lute's positioning.
This is awkward if they decide to fight this on DFR. That's going to be a big pinch coming through from Lou. That's a massive pick to have right now, but that's traded out. Now Substance goes down. That's a 2-for-1 deal. Buddhist is going to be spammed out, I would imagine. Scout runs forward, doesn't get caught up with the rest of the team. The push is trickling back into the shutter. It looks like Aurelia may die. No, will live for now. Jumps away, and TNF took a sloppy Uber in, didn't manage to find any other picks, and now they have to play back on two. Actually, probably play back on the secret yard point, waiting for a push from DFR now that they have the Uber in hand.
And now TNF are trying to employ the same strategy. Delay by spamming as much as possible. Show presence. Force them to earn their way into second. And by the time that DFR takes second, they'll have the second cab, sure, but they don't have a way in the yard against this imminent Taylor Uber.
Yeah, and I mean, Taylor going to be getting their Uber very soon. Like you said, 95, 96, getting there very slowly. Now it's even. Fazan very weak. Bonesy is still down, so if they take this Uber, it's going to be very risky taking that 5v6. Well, actually, now it's 5v5. They got loot here, which is actually a very good pick to have if you want to take this Uber. Looks like they're going to hold on to it, try and hold on to it for last. Going to be an even last hold, so probably the time where everybody starts thinking, all right, can we pressure through garage?
Can we get a sack? There's no gun.
Double sack going in, no gun, some pressure onto the point. Meta's playing on the back right, though, and their soldiers miscommunicating with one another, I would assume, or maybe didn't get the info of where the med was fast enough. Both go to the left, find nothing. Yeah, definitely the right decision, just didn't have the info.
Ooh, they might lose D's Noodles if they lose. No, they get Bonesy trying to clean up that pick on the 20 HP. D's Noodles pays the price for not being able to get it. this has ended way better for DFR than what was initially expected because they nearly lost both their soldiers in this push, and they might lose.
Good spam from
still.
Facade. Excellent spam from Lunchbox to find the free pick onto Substance.
Colligan?
Could be Clagan going down, but won't. Gets arrowed last second. Is able to back up. Even Ubers. Looking
The Med's
for
not
anything.
positioned for the gun. There is
In the very back corner, one bomb could seal that Med's fate right there, but overpaid Rice Farmer and Connor both go down. That is going to be tragedy spelled for TNF. They are not going to be able to hold on to second, let alone push into last. 3 down, 6 up for the side of DFR. Now, wow, they are playing very aggressive here. They really want it.
But ultimately, they wanted to wait for the respawns. But look at how fast and how proactive the flank is. He's just going to die, sure, but they can take all this yard control with his life, and overpaid Rice Farmer is alone. But how is he allowed to get out? That's daylight robbery, if you ask me. And he gets a kill on the way back.
Wow. Finally dies, but wait a minute, there's a scout in, get some good damage onto the beam, they get the force! Beautiful play from Substance to get that use out from TNF. Now they have to overcommit just to get the use from the side of DFR. Luke goes down, that's a drop during the Uber. That's tragic. And now, with the side of TNF, they get that successful force that gets nothing from DNR. Up 3 by now, will only be up 1 by the time to actually push in for the last shove comes through. Scout alone on the right side manages to dodge around the spam from the soldiers. A lot of good cap time coming through from Bonesy. Facade is dead, and now they will back up. Oh my goodness.
What an air shot. Oh man, just blown out of the sky, Connor. That was such a sick air shot from D's Noodles. I gotta say, I think TNF wanted that last push. They just were hesitant about, okay, our respawn's gonna come in on time, and that's kind of the thing where it's like, I'm gonna be there in 2. I'm rolling out, gonna be there in 2. If they were more aware of how fast their spawns were to last, I think they probably would have committed there. There's a spy.
I want you to tap in. Yeah, spy on the field, looking to get in through lower. We do also have Substance spotting the flank here. Aurelia did get a pick, which should open things up a little bit. Oh my god! Substance didn't know. We thought he bumped into the barrel. The spy is still undetected. Bonesy by the left shutter. Could have an opportunity to decloak here. He's decloaking. He's going for the gunspy pick. He finds a pick on a Substance. Now they're in constant fear. They're going to be in fear of the spy behind them. They won't know where he is, and that forces them out of lobby. That allows his team, that allows TNF to get back in. They find the pick onto Lou as well. Facade goes down. Goodness gracious! All it took was one revolver pick. I mean, it works. It draws the team out. Spy standing on top of the point, baiting the cap. 2 on the point. The Ubers come out from both teams. Looks like it should be a significantly better Uber for TNF. All they have to do is play around the picks here. Good stick is on top of the point. Scout gets knocked up onto the pipe. Rice Farmer goes down. There's still a spy on top of the point. Gets blown up by the soldier. It's a 4v2 on the point right now. Connor finds another. Wingman goes down. Soldier bumps in Aurelia onto the point. Pipe comes in from Clagan. Facade is now here, and TNF wins a second round in complete and total chaos. Oh my goodness.
Who would have thought that you don't need the spy to go for the backstep on the medic? Instead, you can just revolver down the scout, bait the cap, and force DFR to be on the losing end of an Uber exchange by losing 3 immediately off the bat. So it's just so much chaos.
It doesn't help that DFR had 4 people on top of the point eating the same damage. As soon as Facade came in, I thought I had the thought in the back of my head that it was going to be over because they would just eat the same damage. Now, double bomb on the mid for the side of DFR. They will find overpaid Rice Farmer and Connor. Loot the only one to go down. Wingman now going down. Clagan going down as well. It's a 2-for-1 deal from Aurelia and Bonesy. Facade going to be able to find Noodles. Bonesy gets traded out for it. It's a 4-for-4 deal right now. Taylor is still alive, and I think the main objective right now is to keep Taylor alive. They do have Facade here with the beam, should be able to protect them. Forward spawns will most likely be in effect for the side of DFR. And honestly, I respect the decision to play back from Taylor and Facade here because you can simply re-aggress with your Uber onto mid.
Can't win versus 2 scouts even if you have the heals like that. It's going to be so hard to protect, especially since you're not... There's no such thing as a shotgun pocket in this meta, unfortunately.
Exactly.
I'd love to see
that doesn't exist anymore. Oh, Sunbather caught in, isolated by Connor and Taylor. Will go down. That's a good pick for them to have. They managed to keep hold of their Uber and get mid back. Now, this does mean Wingman for the next push that TNF is able to cobble together will most likely have that Uber unless they're able to get in very fast and catch out the beam. But I don't think they're going to be able to, especially with how close they're playing to the doorway. Maybe can catch out the demo, but no, they find nothing. Just able to get into y'all. Wait a minute! What is this Uber? Demo into the stratosphere. They're in onto Taylor. They get the force. Taylor has no Uber target. How does this pan out as advantageous for the side of DFR? What in the world?
That's funny. They popped because they saw a soldier bomb in the shutter and they thought, oh, the heals are close from TNF. So DFR thinks let's use into them. They kill the soldier. The Devilman gets bumped in forwards towards the shutter due to spam. And Taylor ultimately has no one else to heal. What a unfortunate misplay of events from the side of TNF in that fight.
Yeah, just that is beyond unfortunate there. And I mean, the most you can do there is run away, lick your wounds, come back better and stronger with you know, better mindset on how to take that fight. Now they do have a little bit of an advantage. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Of course, as soon as I say that, turns.
What a play by Loot.
Loot gets two. Yeah, that's a great play. Playing on that lamp there, or not even on the lamp. I think they just played on Catwalk and had a great position to spam down. We're now taking a very forward position. Doesn't die. And now we'll be seeing even Ubers on two. Don't know if TNF will be able to hold this. Should be able to.
Loot's very proactive. He might be able to get in on a timing before anyone notices it. Nah, the soldier
Substance down. Loot very weak. Gets the trade with Aurelia. How does no one else shoot this soldier? Leaving Aurelia to their own devices. I mean, if everybody just looked and shot, would have been over way sooner. Could have pushed out way sooner. Could have had a better position way sooner. Could have just had a better position in general.
This fight in yard might dictate the rest of this fight. No, nobody
forces them out.
Yeah,
no
just
kills,
pressuring the flank. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, just getting the pressure, that works wonders. You know, 90% of the time, just pressuring the flank out forces the combo to follow. And vice versa, you pressure the combo out, the flank will most likely follow. They don't want to get caught in. They don't want to die, you know, perish to an avoidable death. Bomb comes in from the side of these noodles, does get levitated, will still get some damage. Loot goes down, Facade able to get that pick. Good damage going into the choke. Looks like Facade trying to go for the chase, but beefs the speed shot, can't get through the choke. So at this point now, what are you looking for? Wait a minute, Bonesy is going in. Active camo again, runs in front of two people and takes 3 whole seconds to get shot. I'm so lost.
So I also forget some of the stuff about Granary, but I did notice on second with the pro version, there is no more. There's that little vent that you can't do sticky traps in anymore. So the only trap you have to really worry about is the one when the shutter opens. You can have a trap above that. But never mind that. There's a sack from these noodles. Not gonna find. Wait, a 4-man sack? I was too busy going on my
while you own mid is definitely a confusing choice. I don't. That's crazy. I would not go for that 4-man there because you own mid. It's their job. It's TNF's job to come into you. You play around their sack. You don't have to go for them, but they played the aggression. They went for them, didn't get anything, managed to keep their beam alive. Wingman is still up, which is the important part. To go down in the subsequent push from TNF, now only a 1-player advantage. Could quickly turn into 2. No, will not turn into 2 for the side of Bonesy. Playing a little bit further back than they probably should be here. Now they get in, but it's only the 2 soldiers. Rice Farmer gets loot. Wow. All right, and now we go into the I guess mid-fight 2.0. Really goes down. Nothing. Wait a minute. The back cap is in. Med gets launched up into the air. The bomb! Wingman lives.
If they use
now Taylor's caught in. Wait a minute!
What
the back cap! Bonesy is going home! Going all the way to last on to 2! Loot is up! The default taunt! Oh my goodness, it's 3-2 for Team Named Finger after a very brazen attempt to do a back cap. Oh my god.
But I was scared for a second. I was thinking, like, why is TNF not using the stop mid? They know that they won the back cap because Bonesy won the 1v1 versus Sunbather. It still worked out. It's just by the narrowest of margins. Gave me a heart attack there for a second.
You have to use on mid there. Keep your players alive. Doesn't matter if you flash a bunch either. Doesn't matter if you die on that mid. What matters is you live long enough to let that back half happen. Now, double bomb coming in from the side of DFR. Good rocket from Loot across the map to find Taylor. That's a good opening pick to have. And with 3 down, I don't think
Bonesy,
there's a real...
keep your eyes on Bonesy.
Wait a minute, Bonesy getting in. That's 1 shot, 2 shots. Not able to find the pick onto Wingman. And now with Facade jumping away, that seals the mid in favor of DFR. 3-0 with 11:40 on the match timer until overtime kicks in. And I think TNF in those 11 minutes going to be trying to look for those next 2 rounds pretty quickly. They've been playing pretty passive, all things considered. And so too has DFR. Really, it's just been, you know, who's getting the most spam and then who finally caves and decides, all right, you know what? I'm just going to send it.
You know, I'm not going to say that this is because their double bomb on mid worked. I would like to see DFR switch up their mids because the Wingman has actually been dying because TNF soldiers have actually chosen to counter double bomb. And that way, they basically are able to get the kill on the Wingman 90% of the time. But if DFR do a double bomb but fade back to deal with those soldiers, I think that works out better in the long run for them. But I don't know. They're going to lose 3 here trying to pressure second, though. And they're going to lose Sunbather, so that make that 4 again. How are they losing 4 every time they pressure second? I'm a bit puzzled, because you shouldn't have to lose that many players trying to take space in the yard like that.
Yeah, no, you definitely shouldn't have to be losing that many players. This is some great spam from Facade, spamming into that choke, getting them, forcing them out. This does secure TNF mid. They don't have to use Uber for it. They don't have to send in any sacks. And overall, just a better outcome than what should have happened, realistically speaking. DFR should have forced something else. Taylor going to be getting bombed by Loot. Will not have anything follow through with it. This is, I believe, Substance is in mid trying to get the follow-up. Doesn't find anything there. And now it'll be a 2-player advantage for the side of TNF, looking to push in through the far left side. They will be getting in. Noodles goes down as well. They are hemorrhaging players on the side of DFR,
no,
and now they have an Uber. They have an Uber getting ready to pinch them. They're coming in through Z. They get Sunbather. Uber comes out from the side of DFR. They pop very early, and now the counter pop coming through from the side of TNF. They are chasing hard. They body block the demo so he can't jump away. He jumps away towards his own spawn. Finally manages to get out, but both Ubers come out. Now they lose Sunbather very early on, but that doesn't matter. 5v6 right now. This could go in favor of DFR if they play their cards right. Big bomb coming in. Loot gonna go down now. Substance going down as well. Some time on the point, but not a lot. But it doesn't matter. 4 players down. This should be a definitive win for the side of TNF. And that is how it will go down. 4-0 with 9:15 left until overtime. And
we sing the praises of all of these players on TNF. But I gotta say, Connor has been in the crucial moments where you need a player to step up and get a kill for you, that changes the tide of a game entirely. I think Connor has been that one. He's single-handedly won his team, I think, 3 rounds, not including that on Bagel, just by making a play. Like in that situation, he drops the scout, forces them to have a terrible Uber on the side of TFR, and that cascades into a round win. And now on this mid, look at Facade. He's on the lamppost because he's trying to bring his many eyes to them as possible.
Wingman is super weak. Bonesy is in! Bonesy finds the pick to Wingman!
That position from Facade won in the mid. What a great play. He did that on the first mid too. You know, when you stand on lamppost like that, you put yourself as an immediate threat to DFR, and they are all looking back for him for some reason. And they put themselves in a situation where they ball up into a choke point that they take all the same damage from. And I think this might be the game actually.
Loot is up on Sniper, probably going to be peeking from the far right side, if I had to guess, peeking in through the doorway as it's open. They should have spotted him, or at the very least heard him. I do think he took a shot. Definitely know he's there now. Uber getting popped through the left side. Demo going to be bombing forward onto the Sniper. They should be able to get this free pick here. They need to get those stickies cleared off of the point, however. Gun goes down. Good spam coming through the windows, but those stickies need to get cleared off of the point sooner rather than later. But they're going to be playing around the kills. Stickies get cleared off the point. Soldier playing the cap time. Nobody is there to block. All they need to do is stand on top of the point. Ladies and gentlemen, and friends in between, amateur playoffs round 1 has gone for team named Finger, only giving up 1 round. The 9th seed has defeated the 8th seed in this playoffs match. They will be advancing to the quarterfinals, and DFR will now be on the outside looking in, have to find a team that they would like to root for. And that was a that was a close game until it wasn't, right? We saw a lot of plays coming through from DFR that had me thinking they were going to be converting rounds, but they could never make it past 2. They just couldn't make it past 2.
Right. I have to say, if I had like if I had 2 like MVPs, well, actually, I have to say like 3 MVPs for the team. I gotta say the Soldiers, Aurelia, and Facade were the turning point. Not on, well, yeah, I say Aurelia and Facade were the turning points for their team, because on Bagel they made the adjustment to hold the houses, and their ability to hold the houses alone won them the game when they were down and out, because DFR Soldiers were originally the better duo when we first were heading into this game, and then on Granary they got so much value out of their counter double bombs. I think you got to give props to those Soldiers because they put the team on their back. But when I look at the crucial situations, when I think about the situations where if one player makes a game-winning play, they turn the tide of the game for their team entirely, it's Connor. So those 3 were my picks for MVPs of the game. Yeah.
And if that's a fair enough picks to make. We do have logs that we can pull up here. And while the score tells one story, the logs will tell another. And it does look like for this game, scouts for the side of DFR struggling a little bit, really having a hard time denying bombs from the side of TNF, which is something we saw in game, but the TPM stat really tells us that they weren't monitoring the skies enough, tells us that even when they weren't able to land those shots. And unfortunately that turns out in a lot of preventable deaths. I mean, 4 deaths for Wingman, while Taylor only has the 1. And really that kind of says all you need to know. But also the DPM, Rice Farmer at 288, 12, 5, and 10. I mean, overall, this was just a fantastic game from the side of TNF. They did the right things when they needed to. They obviously made mistakes, right? But they learned from them very quickly. They adapted on the fly, and I think that combined with Connor just absolutely going insane, Bonesy going insane as well. I mean, they have 2 very strong scouts on their team right now. They have Rice Farmer doing well. They've got Facade and Aurelia playing well throughout the game, getting good spam, having good coordination with one another. I think realistically, the biggest thing that helped them here was Connor and just being able to adapt on the fly. As soon as something went wrong, they immediately turned around and fixed it.
I gotta say, one thing that I did not notice throughout this game, because it was a persistent issue on Bagel, was Taylor's deaths. Taylor had, I think, 11 deaths, even though he was the less killable med on Bagel, per se. He only has 1 kill, or 1 death in this entire Granary match. And on mids, where you're supposed to be dead as a medic if the other team plays it right, he didn't die a single time in those mids, I believe. Actually, he died on 1 mid. He died on 1 mid.
There was the 1. Game. Yeah, so almost the flawless med game here, and something I do just want to check for the sake of it. It looks like Wingman actually has more healing than Taylor does, but because of how many deaths Wingman had, it doesn't matter. They had 3 less Ubers than the side of Taylor. So keeping your med alive here, you might have more heals than them, but what really matters is trying to keep your med alive. And they just couldn't find the method to do that, especially on the mids, because I think they died almost every single mid or got extremely close to dying on the mids. So,
or it could be a common denominator of, if you're healing more, especially on Granary, that means your team's taking a shit ton more damage.
That's true. That is true. And actually, you know what? Now that you say that, I want to check out the health pack score. And it looks like TNF is just gobbling up all the health packs. Facade has 39, Rice Farmer has 31, Aurelia as well, Bonesy has 23, Taylor has 16. The only people that have over 20 health pack score are Klagan and Noodles. So not really what you want to see for health pack score, I would say, but sometimes. You can't win them all. Happens. They had a strong performance on both maps, regardless of what the score says. And I mean, they gave it their all, and that's really what matters. So I think we're gonna have to wrap it up here. Match
Who did they go on
over.
to face? Who did they go on to face in playoffs? Do we know yet?
I'm not sure. I think most of the matches are still being played, and I don't know.
Okay. I think they go on to face the first seed. The first seed. Wow, amateur is a season where there is no undefeated team. That is.
Oh yeah, there's
insane.
no undefeated teams in AM this season. But with all that said, I think it is it's the end of our broadcast day here. So before we go, do you have any shout outs before we leave?
Shout out to the guy who gave 5 tier 1 gifteds during Bagel.
True.
Snoopy Overwatch or whatever the hell the name was. No, Snoop's Overwatch. Thank you, brother.
Thank you for the massive
quick shout out in the
5
chat.
gifted subs. And anyone else you want to shout out before we head out? Or
shout out to Resin on production as per usual.
oh yeah.
Shout out to our merch and shout out to ! Subscribe. Please subscribe to our OnlyFans. Thank you. Please, we need money. We want to host another LAN. Thank you.
Reasonable.
And shout out to Rooster 200. Shout out to Rooster 200 and Game 7 Halliburton.
All right. Well, for my shout outs, shout out Fish Love. They tuned in tonight, I think, anyway. If they didn't, I'm going to look real silly when they watch the VOD. But aside from that, shout out to Sayo and Resin. Shout out to Console. Wanted to cast with us tonight to fill in, so I didn't have to solo, but had to step away. Something came up right before we were about to go live. So happens, can't control stuff. And shout out Looster as well. I think that's going to do it for us tonight, though. We will be back later on with some more playoff. Do we do stuff tomorrow? We do playoff coverage tomorrow.
We have advanced. We have an advanced playoff deciding match for 4th seed.
Ooh, okay. So we've got advanced playoffs deciding match tomorrow, which I assume probably 10:30 Eastern, right?
Yeah. And we also did the raid, so I guess we can say good night now.
Yeah, it's good night. We will see you next time we go live tomorrow, probably 10:30 Eastern. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Bye.